Good morning, seventh grade. I hope you are doing well this fine day. And as you know, it is lab day today. So I'd encourage you first to make sure you go grab your book. And we're going to be working through a couple of things here together today. But the first one is kind of a challenge for you. If you open your book to page 200, page 200. Page 200 is the classroom activity. And what I'd like to do is offer the classroom activity to you as an opportunity for bonus points. All you have to do is complete this activity in your yard. Don't go to the school property, okay? But if you can do this in your yard, and you don't need a hula hoop, just make a big circle with your arms to get an idea. But I'd like you to try that. And if you can record some things and send them to me as part of the stream or the comments for this lesson, I'll give you some bonus points for responding. Also, maybe I might ask you on Friday's live chat. And if you can give me some of the things that you found for your classroom activity, I'll give you some bonus points for that as well. But today I want to take the bulk of our time to work together through the lab activity on the previous page 199. And the question here asks, can the loss of one species result in the collapse of an entire ecosystem? So think about what an ecosystem is, that combination of the biotic and abiotic components, the living and non-living things. And think about what a species is, all the little different kinds of critters or plants or animals for that matter. Can the loss of one species result in the collapse of an entire ecosystem? That's the question. So take a moment, if you haven't already, and write your hypothesis, and then we're going to work on, and you can pause me, just don't pause me too long because I might freeze. But and then we'll work through the procedures here. Now, if you have one of these games at home, fantastic. That would be awesome. You can even do it on your own at home. If we were in school, I actually have a giant Kerplunk game that we would have played with, but I do have a Kerplunk game here at home myself. And we're going to be using that in order for you to complete your observations, even if you don't have one at home. So you will see there are 3 questions in the observations that I want you to work on answering as we do this activity together. So, if you've never played Kerplunk before, this is it. It is basically a cylinder with a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom, and it rotates like this. And there are different spaces on the base or the platform. And you set this game up by putting little sticks, little colored sticks, through holes through the center of the device to create kind of a web. Now, in our lab, we are using these sticks to represent individual species. This whole thing is an ecosystem, and each of these species is being placed into its individual niche. That's another vocab word you should know. Its place in the ecosystem. And its place on this Kerplunk game is basically the holes in the center of this cylinder that the sticks go through. So again, keep this in mind. This is an analogy and an example of individual species fulfilling a particular niche, filling a niche in an ecosystem. Now, stability in this ecosystem is being represented by the marbles that I have placed in the top. And you can see there are marbles in here, lots of marbles that are now resting very comfortably on top of each of these sticks. So the stability of the ecosystem is being supported right now by the diversity of species inside this ecosystem or a part of this ecosystem. So the question of this lab is really asking you, can removing one of these result in the entire collapse of the ecosystem stability, again, represented by the marbles falling down. So, what do you think? You can pause me again if you haven't already to write your hypothesis. Okay, that should be enough time. So, here's how we're going to do this. Normally, we'd go around the room and each of you would remove a species of your own, but I'm going to do it myself since we are social distancing and there's nobody else in the house right now. It's just me. Now, if you turn to page 204 in your book, on the bottom of the page is a cool little picture of what we are representing here. This is an ecosystem with lots of interconnected species. And we're going to start at the top of the circle and work our way around, and we're going to remove one of these species each time, and we're going to see what happens. So at the top of the circle, we've got a bunny rabbit. And I'm going to ask a question each time. I want you to think about it. Will removing one species, in this case, the bunny rabbit, is that going to cause the entire ecosystem to become unstable and collapse? If you answered no, then you're correct. It didn't. In other words, is it possible to remove an individual species and not have an ecosystem collapse? Well, we've just demonstrated in this model that it seems to be possible. Is it possible in real life to remove a species and not have the whole thing collapse? Well, have we had extinct organisms over history? Yes, we have. There are extinctions taking place all the time, and most of the extinctions we don't even notice because they're not creating any impact on us. So let's remove another species. If we move on right down to the right there, clockwise, looks like the next one is maple trees. Can we remove maple trees and not have this? Well, yes, we can. We could do that as an example. These are just examples, remember. Of course, I would miss them because I love maple syrup. So you might miss maple syrup too, but can we live without maple syrup? Yeah, we can. All right, moving right along. Woodpeckers. Can we remove woodpeckers without everything falling apart? I just did. We just made woodpeckers go extinct. Now, that might cause some other things to happen, like those bugs that they eat in dead wood might eat apart all the trees, and well, the trees might fall down because they're rotting instead of the bugs being picked out by the woodpeckers. But could we survive without woodpeckers? Probably, yeah. All right, so moving right on down, that looks like a scary snake. Scary snakes. Can we remove scary snakes? Ooh, there was some movement there. Now, it's not because scary snakes are so important, but so far we have now removed 4 different species from our ecosystem. Think about that for a moment. There was some movement after the 4th species, which just happened to be a scary snake. The next one looks like a grouse. A grouse is like a little wild chicken. Some people might hunt grouses. We could do without them. Some of you may never have even heard of grouses before, and maybe you're just grouchy about grousers. I don't know, but can you remove grouses? Yeah, probably. But we're now up to 5 species we've removed. So moving down the little mice. Little white mice. Can we remove little white mice? Some of you might want to remove little mice from your homes and use mouse traps to remove them. Some of you might even be happy if we didn't have any mice on the planet. But can we remove a mouse? Ooh, there was a little bit of movement. But hey, the stability is still intact. We've removed a half dozen species, but think about it. We still got plenty more species left there, and they're all holding the stability of the ecosystem together. So hey, what's the big deal, right? Well, let's move on. Let's remove another species. I think that one looks like a tick. Ew, I don't want ticks. Let's get rid of the ticks. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't have any impact. Although, some birdies like to eat those ticks. Oh, the birdies will have to find another food source. All right, let's move on down the. Oh, is that a squirrel? That looks like a squirrel to me. Can we do without squirrels? I'd love to do without squirrels. Squirrels are nasty. They ate my garden, and not much impact on removing squirrels. Anybody have squirrel stew, by the way? Have you ever had squirrel stew? I understand it's pretty not too bad. All right, so we've gotten rid of 8 species, and we still got plenty of stability here, folks. What's the big deal? Let's just get rid of the rest of these species, right? So let's move on down the list. Looks like the next one is a raccoon. By the way, I understand the raccoon is the mascot for this COVID quarantine because it washes its hands all the time and they wear masks. Raccoons. But that was just a little joke. All right, so can we root? Ooh, I heard some jiggling and wiggling of marbles in there when we removed the raccoon. Next, we've got oak trees. Let's remove an oak tree. Okay, no problem moving oak tree. Owl. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let's remove owls and see what happens. Wow, we're like going mad here, eliminating all these species and nothing is happening. What in the world is that next one there? Uh, I think it's some kind of a bug. Can we remove other bugs? Yeah, who likes bugs, right? Ah, bug, schmug. Ooh, that next one looks like a cute little critter. I don't even know what kind of cute little critter that is. It's a little bit too small for my glasses. But can we remove cute little critters? Oh, I guess we can. Boy, oh boy, that's kind of a bummer. I like looking at cute little critters. But let's move on to looks like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are going mad right now in Africa. They are like tearing across the savannah, eating everything up. Let's just get rid of them, shall we? Oh, yeah, we can get rid of grasshoppers without a problem. Moving right along. Oh, pretty little flowers. Or is that poison ivy? I'm not sure. Oh, all right, poison ivy, pretty little flowers. Let's remove that. No worries. All right, next we've got a frog. Ribbit, ribbit. Oh, frog. Wait, frogs. Oh, Kermit's back in the lab. Can we remove frogs without a problem? Uh-oh, uh-oh. After removing all of these species so far, look at this. It looks like we now have removed more species than there are species left in the ecosystem. And by removing that frog, we experienced our first example of, well, our ecosystem is starting to fall apart. The stability is diminishing. So let's move on. What's that next one? That looks like a creepy crawler. Let's remove that creepy crawler. Not much impact there. Then we got a fox. What does the fox say? Ring, ding, 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 ding. Ooh, fox doesn't say much there. Ooh, and then we got a cute little caterpillar or worm. Let's remove just a cute little caterpillar or worm. Oh no! Did you see what happened? We had a lot more marbles just by removing that one species. It resulted in a lot of loss of stability. Now I want you to think about this again. Was it because of only that one species we removed? Think about it. Think about it. But we still have some stability left, so let's remove the next plant there. Oh boy, oh my, oh my. And then the spider, whoop, the scary spider, uh-oh. Things are really falling apart here. Here's another bird. Oh no. And that little plant there. Oh no. And if we keep on going around the circle as we continue to remove, there's no marbles left. There's only a few species remaining. Most of the species have been removed. Look at all the species that have been removed from their niches. And I think the last one was that plant that we removed right before the bunny again. And look at all of the marbles that have fallen out, representing a total loss of ecological stability. So I want you to think about the question again, ladies and gentlemen. What was the question? It's on the top of the page. Can the loss of one species result in the collapse of an entire ecosystem? Think about it again as you write your conclusion. And after you've written your conclusion, when you submit this assignment today, I'd like you to write your conclusion in the stream for Google Classroom and see how it compares with other people's conclusions. I want you to read them and see how your conclusion compares to others. So that's our lab activity to get today, seventh grade. Hope you enjoyed our lab on biodiversity and hope to see you soon. Make sure you take the practice quiz before tomorrow's graded quiz, and I'll see you later.